Welcome race fans back here trackside once again on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tuesday night action for you here at No Limits Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 250 here in the Superior Class Auto Racing presented by Mug Root Beer. Gonna be one heck of a show out here tonight. We're gonna see who can two-step their way to victory lane. Will Plot continue on his winning ways and add a fifth win to the column this season? We'll have to wait and see. How you doing? How you been? How you feeling out there in the YouTube land and chat? Nice to see some of you guys out there joining us here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Yeah, gonna be another great night. 167 laps here tonight around this 1.5-mile D-shaped oval here at Texas Motor Speedway. And drivers on the scoring charts right now with happy hour coming to a close here. We've got about 5 minutes remaining here in happy hour. Bobby Hamilton Jr. sitting on top of the speed charts with a 28:44. I apologize. Right behind him, Chris Mathis and his Toyota Camry with a 28:46. Kason Plott right there with a 28:47. Mikey Yellow Jr. with a 28:58, 28:59 for David Bradford. And that will be your top five as just a little bit under 5 minutes now remaining in happy hour. A lot of drivers out there getting some final laps. Got some newer, fresh faces out there tonight. Looks like we've got the 76 or 78, I apologize, of George Oaks down there in his Ford Mustang. Will Hewitt also out there in his Chevy ZL1 Camaro. So good to see some fresh faces out there. And as we enter tonight's race, tonight, round number 12 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Round 13 gonna be at Martinsville in 2 weeks. 2 more weeks after that, we'll head to California for round 14 here in season number 2 for the Superior Class Auto Racing presented by Mug Root Beer. And at the end of California, we'll find out who your top 4 are that are gonna move into the final race, the championship race at Phoenix. The Arizona 150, I believe it's the Arizona 150, maybe the Arizona 159, something like that. Anyways, the championship race. So we'll get set to find out who's gonna take the quest after the title here in season number 2. Only 3 final races remain before we will see who will make it into that top 4 and have a chance to battle it out for the season championship. Few drivers still out there on track. Looks like Jeff Napier, Jason Baker, Thomas McMullen also out there on track. We'll take a little look here at Thomas as he makes his way around the track in that Valvoline Chevy ZL1 Camaro, the 02, looking pretty sporty out there. There you see a few drivers just behind him. I believe that's Brian Littleton, Jason Baker, and Jeff Napier all kind of grouped up with each other. The 85 has the advantage behind him right now. Looks like they've been out for quite some time on the tires and fuel, so maybe a little bit of fuel research going on out there by a few of the teams. And as we inch closer to switching things over to our qualifying session, gonna talk about the point standings just a little bit coming into tonight's race. Having some issues with some of the coding and things of that nature. You know how technology can treat you sometimes. But, yeah, so our championship graphic not working here tonight. But your championship standings do look a little something like this. Kason Plott sitting in that top spot with 364 points, 4 wins, 2 pole positions, 8 top 5s. So far this season. So Plott with a heck of a run. Brian Littleton right now sitting just 4 points back at 360 with 6 top 5s, but not visiting victory lane yet this season. Third place in the points championship coming into tonight's race, Colt Ansley. He's only 14 points behind your points leader, One race win so far this season for Ansley with 3 top 5s, 8 top 10s. So Ansley with a great run as well. David Bradford going to be sitting 18 points back in the 4th spot. Mark Truxell going to round out your top 5 in the point standings, 23 points back. No win on the race season so far for Truxell. Bradford had been to victory lane twice. So a little bit of a mixed bag. We've got 3 drivers up here in the top 5 in your championship point standings that have been to victory lane. And then we've got 2 drivers that haven't, but consistent runs throughout the season have put them in a very, very comfortable spot. A little bit of a gap back from 5th to 6th. From Mark Truxell back to Jeff Napier, it's about another 43 points or so. So your top 5 sitting somewhat comfortable with very limited time for these drivers to make up the ground they're going to need to have if they want to buy their way to the championship. Or I shouldn't say buy their way, but if they want to find their way to that championship race in contention for the championship when we head to Phoenix a little bit later on in the year. Well, looks like happy hour going to come to a close, so we'll get ready to switch things over into qualifying, get ready to get green flag racing here very, very shortly. This is going to be one heck of a, big time wreck. Looks like some drivers having a little fun at the end of the happy hour session. As you know, here on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator, you don't have to pay for the cars more than once. And they're much, much cheaper. $11 is much cheaper than $1 million. I'm just saying. Jeff Napier going out on track now for his qualifying session. We've got a few other drivers out there on track. Will Hewitt, Mike Yellow Jr., Thomas McMullen, Chris Mathis also out there on track on their up-to-speed laps. And I tell you what, new face, let's give him a little bit of love out here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. There you see the 7 of Will Hewitt as he makes his way around the track here, getting up to speed in his number 7 Pro Care Chevy ZL1 Camaro. Looks pretty sporty crossing the line. Gonna start his qualifying laps. We'll show you who's all out there qualifying right now. There you see Thomas McMullen on his lap, Mathis, Yellow Jr., Hewitt all on their time laps. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 hitting the track as well. So track starting to get pretty busy here early in qualifying here at Texas Motor Speedway. Crossing the line for the first time, gonna put his first time lap in. Your qualifying board looks a little something like this. Hewitt good enough for 3rd as Mathis has got the top spot with a quick time of a 28.69. Joshua Baker now leaving pit road. Bobby Hamilton Jr. running down the backstretch close to entering into turn 3. We'll see where he shakes out in the speed charts here in just a moment as we continue to watch the 7 of Will Hewitt cross the line. Kenny Improve not gonna pick up any spots, actually drops a spot there to Mike Yellow Jr. Bobby Hamilton Jr. 4th on the speed charts with his first time lap. We'll see what that 25's got in it. Let's see if he can't get that Whoppers Ford Mustang to the top of the speed charts right now, being dominated by Toyota. 2 out of your 3 top qualifiers sitting in those Toyota Camrys. Back across the line for the second time, Kenny Improve. Hamilton Jr. picks up 1 spot, not enough to get Chris Mathis, so that 28.69 holding strong out there for him. We'll go back now. Tell you what, let's take a look. Case and plot just now rolling off of pit road. George Oaks, another newcomer out here in this number 6 Viagra Ford Mustang. He's making his way around the track. Going to cross the line, I believe, this first time right here. First time lap beginning, I should say, here for Oaks. Oaks going to go to the 8th spot on the speed charts. Still have quite a few drivers out there remaining to make their time laps, and not a lot of time left on the stopwatch for these drivers to get their laps in. Oaks making his way through 3 and 4. Gonna come off 4 this time. Where's he gonna slot in? crossing the line. Looks like that last lap a little bit slower, so not going to improve. He's going to actually drop a spot as Joshua Baker makes his way into the standings. Kason Plott all the way to 4th with his first-time run. We'll take a look here as Mark Truxell crosses the line for the first time. Where's Truxell slot in? Truxell's good enough for 12th on his first-time lap. We've still got 3, 4, 5 drivers yet to make a qualifying lap, and I don't believe they're going to. Looks like the 51, the 80 of Brian Littleton, the 46 of David Bradford, the 33 of Brian Mescal Jr. also electing not to put in a time lap, so we've got less than 60 seconds remaining here in qualifying. What can Truxell do with it? Gonna cross the line. He improves, but not to the top. Good enough to start in the 10th spot, so it looks like all of that going on. We had our eye back here on Mark Truxell, but Hayes Booth took his number 2 Ford Mustang to the top of the speed charts with a 28.68, actually tying your points leader coming into today's race, Kason Plott. Both of those drivers with the exact same time, but they're going to give that pole award to the 2 of Hayes Booth. So, with all that said and all that figured out, we're going to step away for just a brief moment, catch our breath, head down trackside for our national anthem. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Johnny with Little Tate's Cupcakes. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's race on the Turn 3 Network. Little Tate's Cupcakes is a bakery based out of Owensboro, Kentucky. We specialize in cookies, cakesicles, cakes, and cupcakes for every occasion. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram for more of our work and for daily specials. Go number 5.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Back live, ready to go. Green flag racing here at No Limits Texas Speedway. Here for the Superior Class Auto Racing presented by Mug Root Beer. Looks like we've got some great weather out there today. 69 degrees, track temperature 72. Gonna be one heck of a race. With all that being said, looks like drivers beginning to roll off pit road. So we'll get to the official good parts of the show, what everybody joins us for. Your starting lineup, and for some reason that didn't take, but we'll continue to roll with it. Hayes Booth gonna line up inside row number 1. Kason Plott just as outside row number 2 here today. The 18 of Chris Mathis, followed by the 02 of Thomas McMullen. Bobby Hamilton Jr. slotting in the 5th spot, and Colt Ansley will start in 6th. Row number 4, starting inside the 74 of Mikey Yellow Jr., followed by that 77 of Joshua Baker. Row number 5, the 85 of Jason Baker, and the 5 of Mark Truxell. Starting row number 6, the 7 of Will Hewitt, followed by the 40 of Jeff Napier. Row number 7, George Oaks, and the 80 of Brian Littleton. The 51 going to line up 15th. Brian Mescal Jr. going to start 16th. David Bradford, shotgun, tail end of the field. Pace car down and away. Waiting to go. Green flag in the air here at TeXas, and we're racing once again here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Hayes Booth gets that 2 off to a good start down there, hugging the much wider entry here on this new paved Texas Motor Speedway. A lot wider. The turns are just a little bit different as we're on board now with that 2 of Hayes Booth. Chris Mathis going to make his way around and take that top spot away. Sitting on the pole, but not able to make it all the way back around and lead lap number 1. Now looking for the lead again. That 2 of Hayes Booth fired off well, but wasn't able to keep that spot back to the line. Mathis edged him out. Now side by side as they enter turn number 3, still battling for your race lead. Drivers pretty much all over each other up here at the front. Back through the pack just a little bit further. These drivers all over each other. Less than 2 seconds separate the entire field, as now Mathis losing a little bit of ground. He's going to fall victim and fall into the hands of that 02 of Thomas McMullen. So the 2s going to the front of the field very early here today. Keep our eye here on this battle right here between McMullen and Mathis. Mathis on the outside, struggling just a little bit, and here comes that 19 of Kason Plott. Plott coming up into the mix, and he's going to bring Colt Ansley with him as well. Long train of cars down the back stretch, heading back into turn number 3. Everybody looks content and satisfied to pretty much run single file right now. Nobody really mixing it up per se. Everybody right there on the rear deck lid of the driver in front of them. Small gaps in between a few of the cars. So look for this to begin a long green flag run here at No Limits Texas Motor Speedway. And these drivers, there you see Mark Truxell, he's ducking out. He's trying to get some air and some momentum. We'll go back here, watch this battle begin to unfold as the 85 goes way up the track. Baker gonna lose some ground, gonna lose some spots too. Now make it 3 cars as the 7 of Will Hewitt follows Truxell through for that position. The 77 of Joshua Baker now looking to go to the inside of Jason Baker, and he's gonna do it. Clear him coming off of turn number 2, halfway down the back stretch. Put that 7 up into that 9th spot. Back up at the front of your field, Hayes Booth still continues to lead by about a half a second. Battle going on, raging on still back there for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th between McMullen, Mathis, and Plott. Plott right there lurking in his Ford Mustang, trying to find somewhere to enter the corner, try to get a little bit of air on the nose of his Ford Mustang, searching right now as the track just pretty much blocked in front of him as Mathis and McMullen racing very hard. Not a lot of room at all. Looks like Mathis is going to catch the worst of that exchange. He's going to drop the spot to Plott. Now Plott going to dig and see if he can't get by that 02. Big push off of Mathis on that rear deck lid of the 19 as they enter 3. Little bit of a wiggle for the 2. That opens the door for Plott. Plott's going to drop to the bottom. Side by side to the line, give the spot to Plott at the line. Here comes Mathis digging on the bottom. He's going to follow through, and just like that, the 02 drops from 2nd to 4th. And just behind this battle, this battle has pretty much brought the field back with your top 2-3 drivers. Bobby Hamilton Jr. now joining the party as well. Colt Ansley in the 86, just about 0.2 of a second behind Bobby Hamilton Jr. So here in the next few laps, we can look at this battle for second to be between your top 6 out of your top 7 going to be battling here very shortly. And that 2 machine of Hayes Booth, he's lost a little ground here. These last few laps looks like Case and Plot has picked up the pace, or Hayes Booth has kind of eased off a little bit, because look at the gap shrink on the front stretch. Last time by about 5-6 cars, this time about 3. So the gap definitely dissipating for your race leader well up the track on exit of 2. That's going to give the run to Plot on the bottom on the exit. Great run. Here comes Mathis to the inside. Plot and Mathis, dynamic duo right now, making the pass. Race leader going to drop from first to third as Case and Plot takes the race lead for the first time here tonight in the TeXas 250 here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. It's the Superior Class Auto Racing presented by Mug Root Beer. Plot with a moment. Now Mathis has the lead. The 2 of Hayes Booth looking to the inside once again. Booth wants that top spot back. Here comes Bobby Hamilton Jr. Very low on corner exit. The 2 of Hayes Booth utilizing the wider exit here at Texas Motor Speedway, the repaved Texas Motor Speedway. In contact up the track goes Hayes Booth and right into that left front of the 18 of Mathis, and Mathis gonna lose a ton of ground. Back to 5th, now make it back to 6th, and here comes Truxell as well as a few other drivers. Looks like that's the 2 of Thomas McMullen as well as Joshua Baker right there, gonna be nipping on the heels of that 18 of Mathis. So Mathis dropped from battling for the race lead to trying to hold on to that 6th position. Back up front with your race leader for the moment. Hayes Booth reclaimed the lead. Little bit of contact. Gotta wonder if that right rear's gonna suffer at all after the contact with the left front of Chris Mathis. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 gonna take the inside lane, get that lower exit off of 2 and fire off down the backstretch. Take the race lead as they head into 3. Half a car separates first and second. Another half a car separates second to third. Your top 3 all within about 0.3 of a second of each other, and looking to the inside once again through the center of 1 and 2 is Hayes Booth. Gonna try to use that lower line once again, but hanging it out high, wide, and handsome. That Ford Mustang of Bobby Hamilton Jr. trying to put that Whopper machine back up at the top spot. Colt Ansley right there. Little bit of a wiggle after touching the apron, but Ansley gonna stay behind the 25. That's gonna move Bobby Hamilton Jr. forward just enough with the push to give him that lap lead now through the center. Oh, and contact between Booth. He gets into Hamilton. Ansley nowhere to go. Checks up hard. Gets into the back of the 25. Everybody stays straight. And look who's lurking once again. Here comes Case and Plot. And here comes that 18 of Chris Mathis. Battle for the second position, dare I say, battle for the race lead, because these top 3, 4, 5 drivers all have had the race lead at one point in time, and they are all searching to get back up there once again. Side by saddle battle between Mathis and Booth. Mathis gonna drop to the bottom. Plot gonna follow through. That's gonna drop your race leader back to third. Once again, we've seen this play out 2 or 3 times here over the last 10 laps or so. Look for a big run out of that to the 86 of Ansley with a great run into the corner as well. Mark Truxell beginning to join the party back here in the 7th spot. He's got Mikey Yellow Jr. just to his outside in the 02 of Thomas McMullen behind him. Meanwhile, back at the front, big push by Plot. on that rear deck lid of Mathis. Getting into turn number 3, we continue green flag racing here. Crossing the line to take lap number 20 out of 167 scheduled here tonight in the official race distance. 2 stage breaks here tonight. We'll take those at lap 60 and at lap 120. So a very long opening stage for these Superior Class Auto Racing drivers. They're going to have to put it all on the line, and I believe they're going to have to hit pit road during these stages. So green flag pit stops could make or break you as far as the results at the end of the stages. And coming to that final segment, we're going to have about 40 or so laps, so I believe they'll be able to make it on fuel. It's going to be a stretch, but I believe they'll be able to make it. We'll keep our eye on the fuel strategy, on the tire strategy of some of these drivers out there. And we've seen this unfold right now. Mathis has jumped out to about a 10-car race lead. We've seen other drivers, Hayes Booth to be exact, get out there to a 10, 15-car lead. Drivers battling for position just behind them. Then once they line up for a few laps, they tend to run that race leader right on back down and then battle for 5 or 6. So look for this pack to get back up there to your race leader, the 18 of Chris Mathis. Going to go back through the field just a little bit. Here you see the 02 of Thomas McMullen. He's got David Bradford working his way off of turn number 2 now, looking to the outside halfway down the backstretch. Bradford looking to put his Dr. Pepper Ford Mustang a little further inside the top 10. Bradford sitting in 9th right now, just inside of that top 10. And a little bit of a shocker here. Driver that's been on a pretty good run here as of late, sitting 2nd in your points standings. New paint scheme on that 80 machine of Brian Littleton, as he finds himself back here running in about the 12th position right now, as teammate Brian Mescal Jr. just behind him. But these drivers going to have to get on it a little bit if they're going to want a good finish here in stage number 1. But and through the grass goes Colt Ansley. Ansley able to collect it, but man, oh man, that could have been pretty bad. Ansley able to keep it headed in the right direction. He's going to lose some spots, but still keep himself inside of the top 10, running in the 9th position right now. We'll rejoin the front of the field as there you see it. There you have it. Case and Plot has run down your race leader, the 18 of Chris Mathis. And once again, we'll have a battle here inside your top 2. Battle for the race lead off of 2 down the backstretch. Half a car separates your race leader back to the 19 of Case and Plot. Plot looking for a way around, looking for a way to the front. Not working through the center of 3 and 4. Right there, just about a half a car length, maybe 1, as they cross the line. Great onboard camera shot on the front end of that 19 of Case and Plot. There you see him just behind your race leader, the 18 of Chris Mathis. Do want to give a big shout out to Kaysen and his crew letting us put the cameras out there on the car. Big shout out. Do appreciate that a whole lot. Now we see Bobby Hamilton Jr. right there lurking in that 3rd spot. Hayes Booth has fallen back to the 4th position, just about 6/10 off of your race leader. Plot still heating up that back end of the 18, and I tell you what, I think we've got another onboard camera shot looking through all the cameras here. I believe we've got another onboard shot here with that 19. So I tell you what, let's go down trackside right around a lap here as we begin lap number 30 at Texas Motor Speedway. Great racing up here at the front of the field. Mathis has the lead. Case and Plot right there trying to take it away. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has closed the distance right there in a very close fighting third position right now. Hayes Booth has dropped a little bit further off the pace, now 8/10 behind your race leader, David Bradford, up 12 positions from where he started today's race all the way up to the 5th spot. So big shout out to Bradford for the big move of the race so far. Still battling side by side at times. I lost my train of still battling side by side at times. Very familiar faces. Chris Mathis has been to victory lane. Looks like Case and Plot trying to get to victory lane as well. Now Bobby Hamilton Jr., he's going to try his hand at leading a few more laps. 2-3 wide for the race lead. Contact between Plot and Mathis. That's going to set the 25 clear. And that's going to put these two drivers in the clutches of the two of Hayes Booth as Booth makes the pass on Mathis. Now looking to try to go up there and snatch that second spot away. And while all this is happening, look at this little battle going on back here. We've got another 2-3 car battle between Bradford Ielo Jr. and Colt Ansley. Thomas McMullen right here as well. Still green flag racing here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Green flag from the start of tonight's race. So all of these drivers doing a heck of a job keeping the cars under them. Cars very loose at the front end of a run. And just like this, another pass for the lead. Went back to watch some drivers a little further in the field. And what do you know, we've got another lead change here at No Limits Texas Motor Speedway for Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer here tonight, round number 12 for Superior Class Auto Racing season number 2. Only this one and 2 more races remaining in the regular season. Then we'll head to Phoenix ISM Raceway to see who will take the spotlight for the night, see who can win the championship. Will Bradford walk away with another championship? Don't know. We'll have to just wait to find out. A very close battle for the top 5 positions in your point standings right now. So you're not necessarily locked in, and just because you got to win, that doesn't really mean a thing. Case and Plot, 4 wins on the season, sitting in the top spot in the point standings with just 4 points behind is Brian Littleton in the 80, and he has not visited victory lane at all this season. So very consistent runs can get you where you need to be, get you the points you need, and keep you in the hunt. And with such few races left, these drivers are going to have to start laying it all out there on the line. They're going to have to start pulling some moves that maybe they normally wouldn't want to pull or need to pull, but some of them are going to slowly find themselves in that position where they absolutely have to pull it. Otherwise, it could be the end of their championship hopes. As we head overhead with one of our drone cams here at the Turn 3 Racing Network here at Texas Motor Speedway. If you like some of the camera shots, some of the car angles you see out here on the broadcast here tonight for Superior Class Auto Racing presented by Mug Group here, head on down in the description. Click the link. Promise you will not be disappointed. Big shout out to Esteban and all he does with the camera work that he puts in. Great camera shots from all over the track, from all over the car, not just here at Texas, but any track, any car on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. I promise you, you head over there looking for some great cameras, and Esteban has got something for you. So go on down through the description, click the link, get hooked up with Esteban. Promise you won't be disappointed, as we've got another change for the race lead. The 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. going back to the top of the charts. A good little run there, and he's got about 5 or 6 car lengths between him and Case and Plot. So that run that he got off of 4 was pretty mighty. Case and Plot continues to try to track down that 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. now working in to some lap traffic, as it looks like that's the 78 of George Oaks gonna be put one lap down here as we work our way around the track. Lap 44 out of 167 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. Lap number 60 will call it into stage number 1, so these drivers have about 16 laps remaining before the end of stage number 1, and we've got to start looking at some of the fuel mileage. We've got to start looking at some of the fuel strategy. Do these drivers have enough? Nobody hitting pit road yet so far here tonight. We've been green flagged since the drop of the green flag here tonight at No Limits Texas Motor Speedway. And your top 3 continue to just swap the positions around. Case and Plot gonna go back to the race lead. Chris Mathis now in second as Bobby Hamilton Jr. falls back to third. A little bit of a gap back from your top 3 to David Bradford, Hayes Booth, Colt Ansley. These 3 drivers mixing it up as well. Then you've got to go another, I don't know, about a second or 2 back to catch some more battling on the track. You've got Mark Truxell, Thomas McMullen, and Mikey Yellow Jr., and it's like it's like small packs of 3 out here. We've seen trios in all 3 of these groups right here, just sections apart from each other, battling with multiple other cars. And as this trio gets themselves sorted out, Mark Truxell gonna take that 7th spot, and up at the front of the field, Bobby Hamilton Jr. all over the rear deck lid of that 18 of Chris Mathis, as Case and Plot has pulled away just a little bit. Now on the back end of that 40 of Jeff Napier. Napier gonna go down a lap now. Tough to see you go down a lap this late in a stage, but you kind of got to do what you got to do if you're Plot right now. No time to ease up, no time to be nice, as he's got Mathis and Hamilton Jr. right there lurking in the background. Now about 10-15 cars separate your race leader back to Bobby Hamilton Jr. About an 1/8 of a second gap. So that lap car creating a little bit of a wiggle room here for Plot, as this has been the biggest race lead that anybody has had the had the privilege of having yet. Earlier we seen drivers getting 10 or so car lengths in front of the field, and then the field would catch back up. But now that case and plot has just moved away from Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Chris Mathis. Plot able to just kind of set sail now. Has some real clean air, but now going to work into some more lap traffic. And he's going to put the 7 of Will Hewitt down a lap, as Hewitt going to stay high. That's going to give that bottom preferred line to the 19, as Plot continues to stretch his race lead with only 11 laps remaining, 10 laps to go when we cross the line this time by in stage number 1. We'll begin to work lap number 51 this time by. Bobby Hamilton Jr., Chris Mathis both make their way by Will Hewitt. No harm, no foul, no holdup. And as the field begins to get a little bit further stretched out, I'm looking at some of these gaps between these drivers, and we've got about a second now from Plot back to this battle on screen between Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Chris Mathis. Then we've got about another second back to David Bradford, and then about another second after that back to Hayes Booth, and that's kind of the trend all the way through the scoring charts now. After this battle here for first, second, and third, drivers about a second off of each other all the way through the field. And, you know, it's looking like these drivers may be able to make it all the way through stage number 1 on fuel. And if they can make it all the way in stage number 1 on fuel, then they can definitely make it in stage number 2, and absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, make it in the final stage, as the final stage, actually the shortest stage of the race night. We're going to have a stage caution at lap number 60, a stage caution at lap number 20, so it's going to be about a 47 to, actually, when we take the green flag, maybe a 45 lap shootout to the end of the race. So the last segment going to be the quickest of them all, so you're not going to be able to play any games. You're not going to be able to be nice. You're going to have to go up there and snatch it at the end if you want it. And right now, Bobby Hamilton Jr., he stepped away from Chris Mathis and David Bradford, but he's still got about 1.4 seconds to get back up there to the back end of Case and Plot, and he's only got 6 laps to do it as we cross the line this time by to take lap number 55 out of the 167 scheduled in tonight's official race distance in the TeXas 250. And right now, doing the TeXas two-step, Case and Plot walking his way around the track, pretty comfortable up here. Nothing behind him, nothing in front of him. Enjoying seeing what he sees out there on the track here, coming off of turn number 4, heading across the line. We're going to get closer now to the end of stage number 1, and Plot doesn't want to see any issues, doesn't want to see that dreaded yellow flag fly before the end of stage number 1. Will we stay clean all the way to the end of stage number 1? A full 60 laps, straight green flag racing, no pit stop at that. So these drivers doing an excellent job with tire and fuel management as well. So big shout out to all the drivers out there tonight doing a heck of a job. Plot continuing to run that wide line through 3 and 4, and he continues to stretch his race lead. Now that lead up to 2 seconds as Bobby Hamilton Jr. has slowly fell off the pace just a little bit right there. That last time by about a half a second slower than your race leader. And looking through the timing and scoring, it actually looks like David Bradford had the fastest lap on track that last time by with a 30.35. So Bradford the quickest, but not able to get around Mathis or Hamilton right now. He'll stay in the 4th position as we continue to work our way around the track. Chris Matheson, 18, stuck in a Ford sandwich right now. And if it wasn't for Mathis, it would be a Ford shutout up at the front of the field. Because we've got Plott, Bradford, Hamilton, and Hayes Booth all in a Ford Mustangs. Only 2 Toyota Camrys inside the top 6, and no Chevys whatsoever. Got to go all the way back to 7th and 8th. Now Truxell going to take that 6th spot away and make a liar out of me. But top running Chevy right now is that 5 of Mark Truxell. Colt Ansley now back to the 7th spot. Thomas McMullen in 8th. Mikey Yellow Jr. going to drop to 10th as Brian Littleton finally makes his way inside of the top 10. Took all of stage number 1 to do it, but he was able to do it and walking away with the stage win. No problem. Pretty easy peasy. Case and Plott in the 19 going to slow down, catch up to the pace car. Bring the field down pit road. Everybody will get some fuel and tires, and we'll get ready to go. We'll reset, pull the belts back tight, and get ready to go back green flag racing one more time. So, yeah, one heck of a start to tonight's race. What do you think about that, ladies and gentlemen? Green flag racing all the way through the end of stage number 1. So big shout out to all of the drivers out there doing a fine job so far out there tonight on track. If you haven't already, show these drivers a little bit of appreciation. Hit the thumbs up button. Click subscribe. Smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 Racing Network. We do appreciate each and every time you join us, and as your race leader, your stage winner catches up to the back of that Chevy Pace truck. We will step away for just a brief commercial break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
We got big time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're going to lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage.
Looks like your car is toast. You'll need a tow back to pit lane. Press and hold your reset button and we'll come and get you.
Backtrack side as promised, not missing any of the action as we rejoin the track here high above in the turn 3 blimp, looking down at the field as they get ready to get lined up and get ready to go back. Green flag racing here at Texas Motor Speedway will begin stage number 2, making his way off of pit road. Gonna claim that top spot will be the 18 of Chris Mathis, and it looks like we're gonna have an extended caution here. Pace truck lights still on, so we'll go around the track one more time here before we get set to kick things off here in stage number 2. Stage number 2 gonna come to a close at the end of lap 120, and then we'll get set for our short stint, our short run to the end. Only about 45 laps in that final segment, so these drivers gonna have to set themselves up pretty if they're gonna want to try to have a chance to walk away with a race win. Looks like Jason Baker and Mikey Yellow Jr. both gonna hit pit road one more time. Make sure they got enough fuel in the machines, make sure they got all the fenders straight. They will now both drop the jacks and head off of pit road. They'll try to catch up with the field as they make their way off of turn number 2, slowly getting double file, and we'll get set to go back. Green flag racing this time by. Field now completely double file through the center of 3 and 4. Chevy Silverado pace truck lights are off. We're getting set to fire this thing back off one more time. Pace truck ducks away. Here we go once again. On the gas is Mathis. Great start on that outside. Hayes Booth hits the loud pedal. He gets a good jump as well all the way up there. Side by side, battling with David Bradford for the second spot now. Kason Plott not getting as good of a restart. He's going to fall back. Will actually stay in that 4th spot, but he's got Mark Truxell and Thomas McMullen right there breathing down his neck. Plott moving around just a little bit and working his way back down to that bottom lane. And it looks like that stage pit stop has shooken up the field quite a bit. Bobby Hamilton Jr. all the way outside of your top 5, running in the 7th spot. He's got Brian Littleton right there with him as the 77 of Joshua Baker makes his way around the 80 on the high side. And we've got a battle at the front. Hayes Booth looking to lead the race once again. Digging on that inside lane, and Hayes Booth going to go to the top of the charts without any I don't want to say without any fight really, but not much that the 18 could do with the run that the 2 had on the bottom. Now Bradford looking to follow suit, and here comes that 5 of Mark Truxell. Truxell hasn't made it to victory lane yet this season, but he finds himself sitting in the 5th spot with a very real chance to have another shot at walking away with a championship title here at the end of season number 2, as he is now inside the top 3 and look for him to try to chase down Bradford, maybe grab a point for leading a lap here at No Limit Texas Motor Speedway. Oh, and a big moment there. Truxell a little bit sideways off of 2. He's going to lose a little bit of ground, and he'll let the 18 of Chris Mathis by on the outside. No harm, no foul with that one. Truxell collecting the car and keeping it straight, but here comes Plott with a run, and it seems to me like momentum is a very big thing here at the new repaved No Limits Texas Motor Speedway. If you've got to jump out of the gas for any reason, you are just at the mercy of the next 3, 4, 5 cars, depending on how packed up and grouped up we are, as Truxell still falling through the field after that brief little sideways moment coming off of 2. He's going to drop the spot now to Bobby Hamilton Jr., so put Bobby Hamilton Jr. back inside your top 5. Battle is for second in the front of the field. Hayes Booth has stepped out to about an 0.8 of a second race lead over Chris Mathis, who continues to battle up there. Oh, and it looks like Bradford into the wall. David Bradford gets into the wall and falls through the field, falls from glory, so to speak, running up inside your top 3, scraping the wall. Bit of a hard contact. That's going to set him back and outside of your top 10. Matter of fact, all the way back to the 12th spot. So tough break for that 46 and his crew. Right side of the car doesn't look to appear to be too badly damaged or too bad off. So look for that 46 to be driving a little bit angry here as he's diving to the inside on that 77, trying to take a spot away as fast as he can, trying to get back up near the front of the field. Battle at the front now between Case and Plott and Chris Mathis. That's a battle for second and third. Bobby Hamilton Jr. right there in 4th, 5th. Mark Truxell, Thomas McMullen going to be 6th. Colt Ansley in 7th. Brian Littleton in 8th. Brian Muskill Jr. in the 33, breaking inside of the top 10 for the first time here tonight. And Mikey Yellow Jr. in the 74 will round out your top 10. Hayes Booth continues to lead the field. There you see the gap. It's about a 15 to 20 car gap between your race leader back to the second place runner, Chris Mathis. Mathis sitting about 1 second off of your race leader, but this is where the action is, ladies and gentlemen. Back here, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, they're all in a line, all right here within about, looks to be about a half a second or so of each other. Really, really hard to tell on the stopwatch sometimes. Sometimes it's a little under a half a second. Sometimes it's as much as 6/10. But right there around that half of a second between 3rd all the way back to the 8th place, now make it 9th place driver Brian Muskill Jr. So all these drivers right there with a chance. Now Truxell looking to the inside of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Hamilton Jr. running not necessarily the bottom, but not the middle either. Probably you might want to call that the middle bottom or bottom middle. I don't know. Bottom middle sounds a little bit better, huh? We're gonna roll with that one. Yeah, let's just keep that one like that. As the field makes their way down the backstretch and into turn number 3, once again, we're on lap 78 out of 167 scheduled here in tonight's official race distance. Keep in mind, we will have another stage break at lap 120, so right at about 41 laps remaining for these drivers to the end of stage number 2. Then it's time to put the real racing shoes on and wipe the visor, put your head down, and just get after it, because we're going to have about the same distance from here to the end of stage number 2 as we will from the beginning of the final stage to the end of the race. So look for that final stage to be a very hot and chaotic, I want to say, little scrum. Back at the front of the field now, Chris Mathis, he's begun to step out from the field, and he's beginning to reel in Hayes Booth. Booth was just a little over a second in front of the whole field, and now we see that gap has shrunk to right at a car as Mathis has shot off a cannon, out of a cannon off of 4, right there on the rear deck lid heading into turn number 1. He's going to be within striking distance coming off of 2. Booth going to wash up just a little bit. Here comes the run by that 18. 18 ducks to the bottom halfway down the backstretch. They're side by side into 3. 18 with the spot on the bottom. He's going to slide up the track, take that top spot away from Hayes Booth, and that's brought Case and Plot as well as Bobby Hamilton Jr. into the mix. We've got a 4-car battle now here at the front of the field, and Mark Truxell, he's in 5th, but he is within 1 second of your race leader too. So don't count that wily number 5 out just yet. Mathis taking the lead 2 laps ago, and now following suit with him, Case and Plot grabs the spot away from Hayes Booth, as Booth now going to have to fend off a hard-charging Bobby Hamilton Jr. Mark Truxell in the 5 just behind him, 1.3 seconds back behind Truxell. You'll find the group beginning with Thomas McMullen, Colt Ansley, Brian Littleton, Brian Mescal Jr., and David Bradford. He's made his way back inside the top 10, but he is a little bit further behind the field, a little bit further off of the pace, about a half a second or more behind Brian Mescal Jr., who is running in the 9th spot. Mathis with the clean air, his Toyota Camry liking that up at the front, but he has got a trio of Ford Mustangs right behind him. Bobby Hamilton Jr., Case and Plot, Hayes Booth, all very hungry, and we've got ourselves 2 Chevys right there in 5th and 6th, so all 3 manufacturers being represented inside of your top 5, but it has been a Ford-dominated top 5 all race long here at the No Limits Texas Motor Speedway. Here we see that gap beginning to develop once again for the race leader. This time it's Chris Mathis. He steps out to just a little bit of a lead, and we'll see how long it takes Bobby Hamilton Jr., Hayes Booth, and Case and Plot to run that 18 down. We've seen the 2 of Hayes Booth get out there to about a 1-second lead over the 18 and the rest of the field, but the field slowly clicked off some fast laps, stayed tucked in with each other, and ran down the race leader. We'll have to see if this trio of Hamilton Jr., Booth, and Plot can get back up there to that rear deck lid of Chris Mathis. A little further back through the field, we'll take a look at what's going on back here. This is for about 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th place on track, as David Bradford has not only cracked back inside the top 10, he's taken a spot away from the 33 of Brian Mescal Jr. and looking for a pass on the 80 of Brian Littleton right now. So hard charging is that Dr. Pepper Ford Mustang of David Bradford. Bradford in the hunt for a championship spot when they head to Phoenix. Brian Littleton also right there as well. Colt Ansley also in the mix. There you see Ansley just in front of Brian Littleton. So these 3 drivers on screen, 3 of the drivers fighting for a spot when they head to Phoenix. We've got 5 drivers with pretty much the most realistic shot at putting themselves in a position to chase that championship when we get to Phoenix for the Arizona 150. And right now, the points implications are very real between these drivers. Back at the front of the field. Oh, and Bradford hits the wall. Bradford hits the wall. Big time moment. Almost goes around. Keeps the thing headed in the right direction. I'm not sure how after that heavy contact. So after making a ton of gains here in stage number 2, Bradford into the wall, and he's going to have to reset, refocus, and try to redrive his way back up inside of the top 10. Right now still running in that 10th and final position, but he's lost a ton of ground. Back at the front, change of position for the second spot. Case and Plot took that spot away coming out of 3 and 4. And now, just like I said, those drivers able to slowly reel back in that 18. And now that 18 finds himself under fire with about, I don't know, maybe about 28, 30 laps to go here in stage number 2. Hayes Booth right there. Great run by Booth. All race long, he's been right there inside the top 5. Led multiple laps here this evening. Not quite sure if he's going to walk away with the most laps led. He's going to have to get back up to the front and click off a good few for that to happen right now. I believe Chris Mathis sitting with the most laps led as we speak, but we've still got a ton of laps left to be run here at Texas Motor Speedway in the Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer, live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Do want to say thank you to each and every one of you fans, friends, and family joining us out there tonight and each and every night you choose to do so. Thanks for joining us here for the Superior Class Auto Racing round number 12 in season number 2 here at No Limits Texas Motor Speedway. Plot right there on that rear deck lid of Mathis. Mathis feeling the heat, looking to the inside off of 2. Case and Plot looking for the race lead once again. Gonna be side by side now with Mathis. Mathis and Plot almost touch through the center of 3 and 4 as nighttime has fell here at Texas Motor Speedway. All the lights on. Cars looking great and shiny underneath the lights here. And that is a beautiful, beautiful sight. Love seeing these cars driving underneath the lights. And now the 18 looks to drive underneath the 19. Not going to be able to do it. Pass not going to be there for Mathis. But he is still in the hunt and still on that rear deck lid of the 19 of Plot. Look for him to try to make his way back to that top spot here any minute. And I tell you what, let's go down on board with the driver of that 18 machine. You can hear the throttle play out of the drivers there through the center of the corner. There you could hear Mathis kind of breathe the throttle a little bit, get into it slightly, let out, get back into it. Oh, very close there with the 19 of Case and Plot. That could have been bad for both of those drivers. Plot gonna slot in just behind Mathis as we continue to race green flag here at No Limits Texas Motor Speedway. Only caution of the evening has been for the stage end of stage number 1. So great green flag runs all race along for all of these drivers here in the Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Gonna cross the line. 68 laps remain. Lap 100 out of 167 now underway as we work our way to just 21 laps remaining here in stage number 2. Who's going to be able to get the job done? We've still got 21 laps to find out. Can Bobby Hamilton Jr. go up there and snatch a stage win away, or will Kason Plott go up there and win another stage? Because here he is right there, third car on screen, that 19, hooked up here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. And can he put another win in his back pocket? Can he make it win number 5 on the season? We'll have to wait and see. Still a very long time. Anything can happen. And as we all know, and caution comes out on the track, that changes things up. Mikey Alo Jr. in the 74, sideways on the backstretch. Let's see what happened here with that 74. Oh, and it looks like maybe some contact with the outside wall, and then more contact with the inside wall. That car went sideways, and around it went. Trying to get enough space to turn the car around. Looks like it's pretty bad, but maybe not too bad, if that makes any logical, sensical sense. Is sensical a word? I don't even know if sensical is a word. If not, I just made it. So a trademark and all that to me. Believe we will see everybody come down pit road as we've had a long green flag stint here. Looks like, yes, indeed, all the drivers going to bring their machines down pit road for service. So filling the cars full of fuel, going to get 4 fresh Goodyear tires. And drivers going to set their way to the end of stage number 2 here in the Texas 250 here at Texas Motor Speedway. And I tell you what, while we've got a brief moment, gonna step away from the track for just a brief second. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hi, I'm Johnny with Little Tate's Cupcakes. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's race on the Turn 3 Network. Little Tate's Cupcakes is a bakery based out of Owensboro, Kentucky. We specialize in cookies, cakesicles, cakes, and cupcakes for every occasion. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram for more of our work and for daily specials. Go number 5.
And just as promised, back trackside once again. Field double file. Chevy Silverado pace truck lights have went out. We'll get set to go back green flag racing this time around. First caution of the evening for a caution, really. I don't know how you would say that. For an accident, for an incident. The only other caution flying for the end of stage number 1. Had our first racing incident here right around lap 102 or so. So all the drivers with some fresh Goodyear tires, tanks full of fuel, so we'll make it to the end. And that's going to be interesting to see who pits, who stays out. Everybody probably going to pit at the end of this stage, as this stage will come to a conclusion at lap 120. So we have set ourselves up with a very short stint to the end of stage number 2. Chris Mathis, your race leader, going to choose the inside. Colt Ansley right there in the 86, going to line up to his outside. Field in the hands of your race leader, the 18, waiting to go back green. And on the gas, and away we go. Once again, great start down there on the inside lane by your race leader, Bobby Hamilton Jr. Not waiting. He's on the gas. He's going to take that second spot away. But here comes Case and Plot. Plot digging on the inside. He's looking to take that second spot away from Bobby Hamilton Jr. as Chris Mathis begins to scoot away from the field. Has about a 1.5, almost 2 car length lead heading into turn 3 now. Case and Plot closing the distance, making up some ground. Going to be right there on the rear deck lid. Now side by side going into turn number 1. Bobby Hamilton Jr. left to watch behind in that third spot as Mathis charges and surges back to the front of the field. And we've got a big battle, a big tussle going back here around the 5th, 6th, 7th spot. Colt Ansley, Mark Truxell, Brian Mescal Jr., Brian Littleton, Thomas McMullen. All 4, 5 of these drivers grouped up with each other, battling and arguing, not agreeing about the positions on track right now. Looks like trucks are going to get stuck to the outside lane. Oh, big moment there for that 0-2 of McMullen as Brian Mescal Jr. slides right in front of that 5 of Mark Truxell. Now dives it right back down to the bottom, trying to get a draft off of the 86 of Ansley. While back at the front of the field, Case and Plot tries to run down your race leader. He's there, but not able to get around just yet. Mathis will lead the field through the center of 1 and 2. Ooh, and into the wall just a little bit. The 86 of Colt Ansley, that's going to slow him down just a little bit. Thomas McMullen going to take the spot. Brian Mescal Jr. now cracking inside the top 5. Brian Mescal Jr. up the most or biggest mover of the race right now, up 11 positions from where he started tonight's Texas 250 here at No Limits Texas Motor Speedway in Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Man, oh man, it has been one heck of a night. It has been an action-packed one, that is for sure, as Hayes Booth has closed in on your race leader, the 18 of Chris Mathis. Remember, Booth put it on top of the speed charts in qualifying, was your fastest qualifier here tonight. Led a handful of laps, fell back through the field, but has continued to fight all race long to try to re-grab that race lead. Looks like he's going to have the advantage going into 3 side-by-side with that 18 Interstate Batteries Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler dealer. The Toyota Camry of Chris Mathis on the outside, showing some power. There you see it once again, falling behind just a little bit in the center, but able to put the power down on corner exit and come up and around and take that spot away. Power move through 3 and 4. Mathis uses the outside to his advantage, makes his way around the 2 of Hayes Booth, and now Kason Plott, he's back in the mix. He's trying to take that spot away. Bobby Hamilton Jr. right there still as well. Brian Mescal Jr. gonna be just about a second back, running in that 5th spot. There you see familiar face David Bradford coming back into the mix, knocking on the door of the top 5. Now back up inside of that top 5 as Brian Mescal Jr. falling through the field just a little bit. Now having to battle with Mark Truxell. Truxell gonna take that spot away as Hayes Booth tries to reclaim the lead. Joshua Baker, Brian Mescal Jr., Brian Littleton all battling 8th, 9th, 10th right now. There you see him back through the field. Looks like Brian Littleton with a big battle on his hands right now with Jason Baker trying to keep himself inside the top 10. Mathis pulls away from the field once again as Kason Plott now takes over the 2nd spot. Hayes Booth going to fall another position. Bobby Hamilton Jr. going to reclaim that 3rd spot as Plott and Hamilton Jr. look to try to get back to that rear deck lid of your race leader. And don't look now if you are Hayes Booth, but you have got a fast, angry 46 of David Bradford. His Dr. Pepper Ford Mustang has been on a rail and coming like a madman back up through the field. It's been a tornado, and he is blazing a trail right now back to the front of the field. Still battles going on back through the field. Here you see the 5 of Mark Truxell running in the 6th spot. He's got Thomas McMullen and Brian Mescal Jr. just behind him. Then Brian Littleton with a big gap to make up about 1.3 seconds or so to make up to get back to a spot where he can be in the mix. But it's still very early, still a very long race. Not very much longer to the end of stage number 2, though. We work our way off of 4, gonna cross the line to begin lap 119. Only 1 or 2 laps remaining here before we will see the field slowed for the end of stage number 2. I believe it will be at the completion of lap 120. So Mathis is going to have to hold on for about a lap and a quarter longer if he's going to want to steal a race win. And Kason Plott looking to try to sweep the stages so far. There you see him, big push now, looking to the inside. Gonna have the preferred line going into 1. Contact, little bit of contact there between Plott and Mathis, and that's gonna set Mathis back. Bobby Hamilton Jr. gonna get in front of him, and Mathis gonna drop from the top spot all the way back to the 3rd position. Here comes Bobby Hamilton Jr. He's right there, not gonna have enough to get there. Gonna cross the line. Caution should fly here momentarily as Kason Plott gonna win stage number 2. So your stage 1 winner, stage 2 winner, Kason Plott. That 19 has absolutely got the job done when he's needed to. Whew. That not only gives these drivers a chance to reset, gives myself a chance to reset. There has been some crazy action out there on track here tonight at No Limits Texas Motor Speedway for the TeXas 250 here in the Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. It has been an absolute show. Nobody really walking away for a very long time. Drivers able to get a little bit of a gap, but the rest of the field has been able to gain the momentum and gain the ground and get right back to your race leader. We've had a ton of lead changes here tonight, and look for a ton more as the entire field going to come back down pit road. They'll get 4 tires and fuel and get set to fire things off for your final stage here tonight in the TeXas 250. So with that being said, we'll let the drivers get some service. I'm going to go get some service, run down the hall. You know how that goes. And with all that being said, well, yeah, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
back track side pace truck lights are off. We'll go back green flag racing this time around. Field double file. Case and Plot gonna have the restart in his hands. Here to begin the final stage, the final run to the end of the race. We'll go back green flag racing at lap 127 out of 167 scheduled here tonight in the official race distance. So that's going to give us right at about the 41 laps remaining here tonight. Will we see a long green flag stint to the end, or will the nerves and sense of urgency get to a few of these drivers? We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. I want to take a real quick look at our weather conditions here. Track has cooled off about 7 degrees, as we have cooled off 2 degrees on the air temperature. So the track may be gaining a little bit of grip, and that may come into factor here as we get closer and closer to the end of the race. That Chevy Silverado pace truck going to make the left-hand turn. Field in the hands of the 19 of Case and Plot. Plot in the restart box and waiting for it. On the gas. Green flag flies once again here at Texas Motor Speedway. Great restart on that outside lane for Mark Truxell. He was right there on the rear deck lid of Bobby Hamilton Jr., but Hamilton Jr. just not getting as good of a restart as maybe he would have liked, as still side by side with Hayes Booth, David Bradford right there on the inside lane. And here comes Brian Littleton. Brian Littleton inside the top 5 now, up to the 4th spot, digging inside of Bobby Hamilton Jr., trying to take that 4th spot away. Looks like he's going to be able to do it. Here comes Thomas McMullen once again as well. Bradford chopping the nose of the 80 right now, dropping down from the top down to the bottom in turn number 1. Look for Bradford and Littleton to try to utilize a draft and a push to get by that 19 of Case and Plot, as Hayes Booth has fired out of a cannon, and he's got about a half a second lead over the field. Looking to the inside of Bradford, not going to be there in time. Bradford going to come across the nose of the 80 once again. Brian Littleton now sliding up the track. He's got the 2 of Thomas McMullen right behind him. Case and Plot battling side by side with the 18 of Chris Mathis. There's battles all over this racetrack. Looking to the inside, Mathis going to pull that spot away. Colt Ansley going to slide up right in front of that 74, Mike Yellow Jr. Yellow Jr. With a reset, got the car fixed up. All the fenders are straight on it, and he's heading back in the right direction once again. Battles now between the 2nd through, I don't know, that looks to be maybe somewhere around the 8th or 9th position. So pretty much the entire field still grouped up with each other. With a run and looking to the inside of the 80 of Brian Littleton, here comes the 18 of Chris Mathis. Case and Plot in the 19 right there. Which lane will he choose? He's going to jump to the high side. Brian Littleton now dropping down, dropping to that white line, chopping off the nose of the 18, now looking to the inside of the 46 of Bradford. Bradford down the track a little bit, and here comes the 80. Battle is now for second, side by side into one. No contest. Put that 80 of Brian Littleton up to the 2nd spot, as Bradford now falls into the clutches of that 18 of Chris Mathis. And these two drivers, no stranger to each other, as caution has come out, and it looks like Colt Ansley and his 86 machine involved in this latest incident. We'll back it up, take a look at it right here. Ooh, looks like maybe a little bit sideways and nowhere to go for that 74 of Yellow Jr. There you see contact, and around that 86 went. So tough to see, and tough to see that happen. But you know, sometimes that's just how it happens. That's just how the cookie crumbles. No, unfortunately, Ansley with a little bit of damage. He's going to have to bring his machine to pit road, try to get it all fixed up as we rejoin the race at the front of the field. Your race leader, the 2 of Hayes Booth. Does he stay on track? or does he come down pit road? With this being what may be the final stop of the race, or your final chance to come down under caution, who's gonna take the gamble? And it doesn't look like any of the drivers, second, third, fourth, all on the track, and the lonely man right now is Hayes Booth. He got okey-doked, and the entire field came to pit road, so they're going to have a little bit fresher tires here on this restart, and look for that to maybe factor in to how this thing plays out. And going to keep our eye on pit road right now and see which one of these drivers is going to gamble. Maybe we've got a two-tire stop out of one of these drivers right now. Looks like Brian Littleton, 4 tires for him. He's going to be the first driver off of pit road, keeping that second spot. Chris Mathis, Kason Plott, Thomas McMullen, Mark Truxell, Bobby Hamilton Jr., David Bradford, Jason Baker, and Joshua Baker, both coming off of pit road as well. Will Hewitt and his 7 machine, a heck of a debut for him, sitting inside the top 10 right there in that 10th spot. And yeah, Roy, you like that middle, bottom, middle? You like that? You like how I just kind of make things up and make new words? And I'm going to be pretty upset if Webster does not call us back, because I don't even remember what the word was. What? I don't even remember what I said. But I said I was going to coin a new phrase, and it was mine, and copyright it, but I can't even remember the word. Ain't that something? And it pains me to say, but the words on the side of that 2 machine of Hayes Booth, Ford Performance. That is exactly what we have seen here at Texas Motor Speedway. The front of the field not looking like it did through the majority of the race. It has been a mostly Ford-dominated race here at No Limits Texas Motor Speedway. But right now we've got a Ford in first, a Chevy in second, Toyota third, Ford, Chevy, Ford, Chevy. Kind of sounds like I'm telling you to do the hokey pokey a little bit right there. But all the manufacturers being represented very well. But Ford has just been on a tear here tonight. At one point in time, first all the way through 6th. 4 cars out of those top 6 drivers were all Fords. So not sure what's going on back at the research and development headquarters for Ford Performance, but whatever it is, they have absolutely hit the nail on the head here with the setup and the horsepower that they've brought here to Texas Motor Speedway. Field continuing to work their way around the track under caution. The Chevy Pace truck lights still on, so that's going to give us one more lap to go before we'll go back green flag racing. So we're going to step away, pay the bills one last time here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We do appreciate your patience, and we'll get set to fire this thing back off one more time as we get ready to go back green flag racing. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Johnny with Little Tate's Cupcakes. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's race on the Turn 3 Network. Little Tate's Cupcakes is a bakery based out of Owensboro, Kentucky. We specialize in cookies, cakesicles, cakes, and cupcakes for every occasion. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram for more of our work and for daily specials. Go number 5.
back trackside as promised. No green flag action missed here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And while we find ourselves under caution, want to take the time to give all you fans, friends, and family out there watching on YouTube a big shout out. We do appreciate each and every time you join us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 Racing Network headquarters. We do appreciate each and every time you join us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. I know these drivers definitely appreciate it, so if you haven't already, throw them a thumbs up, click subscribe, smash the bell over there on the right-hand side, get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And right now, task at hand, Brian Littleton going to line up outside of row number 1. First time he's been inside the top 2 all race long, and he's going to need a great restart if he's going to want to try to get up there and battle for the top spot. With only about 31 laps remaining, we'll have 30 laps remaining when we take the green flag. Hayes Booth bringing the field to the restart box, waiting on it in the box now and on the gas. Green flag flies once again here at Texas Motor Speedway field. Still side by side, Brian Littleton with a little bit of a struggle on the restart there. Chris Mathis gonna slot in that second spot. Now looking to take the top spot away. Mathis with a big run off of 2. Big run off of 2, continue down the backstretch for Mathis, but not going to be enough for the top spot. That inside lane checked up just a little bit. Oh my goodness, drivers all through the grass. Looks like Colt Ansley. Oh, and caution going to come out. Hayes Booth, I believe, may have been involved in this one. Colt Ansley definitely involved in this one. We'll have to go back here and see what happened. See if we can find what happened here. And it looks like Brian Maskell Jr. also involved. Colt Ansley involved there. You see the torn up machine of Brian Maskell Jr. So we'll take a look here, see what happened. There you see the drivers getting all out of shape, all wacky and loose, and Ansley just loses the handling and right up in front of that 33 of Brian Maskell Jr. We'll take one more look at it here. Hard impact there, very hard, and here comes the 77, nowhere to go, and just kind of flips Ansley a little bit further down the track. Tough break for all of those drivers, so we'll rejoin the field back behind that Ford. Well, might as well be a Ford up there pacing the field, because a Ford has pretty much led the entire night here tonight, whether it's been Hayes Booth, Kason Plott, Bobby Hamilton Jr., David Bradford was right there knocking on the door of leading the race as well. And it looks like now Hayes Booth going to bring his machine down pit road. Everybody going to come down pit road except for Chris Mathis this time. Mathis is going to be the one that gets okie doke, but the tire difference not going to be nowhere near as much as it was for Hayes Booth right there. Only going to be about a 2 or 3 lap distance. So Mathis should be in fairly good shape, as David Bradford and the 74 of Mikey Yellow Jr., they all stay out on track as well. And, well, you know, I hate to do it, but we've always got some bills to pay, and why don't we get to paying some of them? So we're going to step away. We'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
And once I unmute the mic, you can hear some of the great commentary coming out of the booth here in the Turn 3 Racing Network. Forgot to hit the mic buttons once again. The field finds themselves double file, pace truck, lights are off, and we're set to go back green flag racing once again here at Texas Motor Speedway. 23 laps remaining when we take the green flag. Does Mathis have enough to keep these hard-charging, hungry drivers behind him? We'll have to wait and see. Bradford looking to have a restart, a very good restart on that outside lane. Mathis with control of the race on the inside. Drivers hitting the restart box and on the loud pedal, and away we go. Once again here at Texas Motor Speedway, drag race for the lead. Heading to turn number 1, Bradford with a great restart. And he's got Case and Plot right there on his rear deck lid. Not going to be enough on that start for the 46. He checks up that outside lane. Case and Plot, Bobby Hamilton Jr. having to take some evasive moves now. Mathis going to drop down to that bottom lane, try to stop the momentum of Hayes Booth. But here comes that 80 of Brian Littleton now back into the 3rd spot. Thomas McMullen also right there back inside the top 5. He's running in the 4th spot. Case and Plot and David Bradford side by side. Ooh, big moment there. Big time moment there for, I believe that was the 85 of Jason Baker, sideways coming off of 2. Fresh tires on the 2 of Hayes Booth, 4-lap older tires on the 18, and they are showing right now big momentum. Off of the bottom of turn 4 took Hayes Booth to the lead, and that put Brian Littleton right there in 2nd. He's going to take that spot away from Chris Mathis as Mathis looks to regain that spot down the backstretch. Not going to have enough speed to get there. Halfway through 3 and 4, whole field driving on that inside lane right there, hugging that white line. Mathis all over the rear deck lid of Brian Littleton right now. And I tell you what, I believe we've got a onboard camera. So what do you say we go down on board with the driver of that 18 machine, Chris Mathis? Right there through the center of the corner, you could hear the 18 had to jump out of the throttle. Fortunately, not losing a lot of ground to the drivers in front of him or losing a lot of ground to Case and Plot, who is behind him. And if I'm worried about anybody right now, I'm worried about that 19 of Case and Plot. There you see him running in 4th. He's about a half a second off of your race leader, Hayes Booth. But Plot has been there at the end of each one of these stages, and he has found a way to win each one of the stages. Can he repeat that process again and find a way to victory lane as Chris Mathis all over that rear bumper of Brian Littleton, not just on the entry to 3, but pretty much all the way around that corner, back around the tri-oval, back down into turn 1, through the center. The 80 gains a little bit of a ground as the 18 now closing in with a great run off of the corner of 2. And it looks like searching for some clean air on the front end of that 18 machine. Mathis looking for a way around the 80, but not finding it just yet. And that's brought the 19 of Case and Plot back into play. It's a 4-car battle at the front of the field for the race lead. Gonna check on a few drivers a little further back. Looks like David Bradford, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Thomas McMullen, Mark Truxell. They're all battling for some spots right now on track. Truxell up to the 7th position now. As we watch this battle, we're keeping an eye on the battle at the front. Matter of fact, it's so close. Let's jump back up to the front with this 4-car battle for the race lead, working off of 2. 15 laps remain here in the Texas 250 for Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Group here. Mathis looking to the bottom of Littleton. Now Plott gonna follow through as well. And that's just what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You get rooted up out of that bottom lane, and you can lose 1-2 positions in the blink of an eye. We've seen it happen all night. We've seen drivers be able to accordion and yo-yo back to the race leader, but right now Hayes Booth sitting pretty comfortable at that right there, about a half a second in front of this trio of cars battling right now for the second, third, fourth position. Bobby Hamilton Jr. just back in the foreground. There you've seen him. I'm not sure that's correct. Back in the foreground. The foreground would be in the front. Anyways, in the background of the picture, there you see the 25 Whoppers Ford Mustang of Bobby Hamilton Jr. working his way down the backstretch. He's slowly beginning to close in on this 4-car battle, and we may have a 5-6-car battle for the race lead by the time this is all over with, because David Bradford's got his 46 dialed up and dialed in, and he is on his way to the front as well. One of the biggest race leads we've seen all night. Hayes Booth out to, well, just like that, it disappears. Great run off of 2 by Kason Plott, and he is right there on that rear bumper of Hayes Booth. Here comes Plott back to the inside. Familiar face at a familiar time showing up here at the end of the race. We've seen Plott do it all night long, show up at the end of these stages and take away the wins. And here he is trying to do the same thing again, and just like that, Brian Littleton falling through the field, now back to the 5th spot and in danger of falling outside of the top 5 as David Bradford driving the wheels off of that 46 sideways off of turn 4, side by side with Littleton as they enter turn 1. Not giving up and not going away. The 2 of Hayes Booth still right there on that deck lid of the 19 of Kason Plott. Plott continues to stack the odds against the rest of the field. Once he's got out front towards the end of these stages, he has not looked back. And right now, I can assure you, he's looking back a ton, looking in every one of the mirrors that he has available. Spotter in the ear, giving him everybody's lap time. Matter of fact, that time by second fastest on the track for Kason Plott. Hayes Booth just behind him was the fastest driver on track that time by, as your top 2 have slowly stepped away from the rest of the field. Not sure if Bobby Hamilton Jr. is going to have enough time to get that 25 machine back up there and battle for that top spot here as we close in on the end of tonight's Texas 250 in the Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Kason Plott continues to lead the race. Hayes Booth in second. Third is Bobby Hamilton Jr. Fourth, Chris Mathis. David Bradford rounding out your top 5. Right behind him, nipping at his heels, the 80 of Brian Littleton. Thomas McMullen in 7th. 8th will be Mark Truxell. 9th right now, Mike Yellow Jr. Rounding out your top 10 will be the 85 of Jason Baker. Things seem a little calm right now, but is it the calm before the storm? When the drivers cross the line this time by, we'll have just 6 laps remaining here in the Texas 250 out of the 167 laps scheduled in tonight's official race distance. And yes, we do have green-white checkers if we need them. That's only if. And it looks like right now this duo at the front, they are not losing ground to the drivers behind them. We've seen it happen time and time again here tonight. One driver gets out front, and the rest of the field closes back in, but maybe they just needed a second car with them all night, because they're beginning to step away from that 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr., who now has about a half a second race lead over David Bradford. So Bradford with a big-time moment, but Littleton with a moment as well, not able to capitalize on it that's going to keep Brian Littleton back there in that 5th spot. Four laps remaining for Kason Plott, and can he pull off the sweep? Winner of stage number 1, winner of stage number 2. Can he win the most important stage of them all, this final stage? He's got about a 1.5 car length advantage over the 2 of Hayes Booth, but don't count Booth out. He's been running faster laps each and every lap right behind Kason Plott, just not able to get around him just yet. Only about a 10th separates your top 2 drivers, so if there's any mistake at a Plott, Booth is going to be there, and he's got a great run off of 2 and down the backstretch. He's going to be right there. Plott with a defensive move blocks that inside run, and it's going to be moves like that that brings that 25 who is lurking right there. Big run off of 4. Popsicle sticks in the air for your race leader, Kason Plott. The 19, only 2 laps remaining here at Texas Motor Speedway. Who's going to have what it takes? Looks like Bobby Hamilton Jr. He's closing in now for sure, but not sure he's going to have enough time. Your top 3 drivers make their way through 3 and off of turn 4. Gonna come to the stripe this time. White flag. Final lap here at Texas Motor Speedway. Kason Plott looking to continue his winning ways tonight. Can either of these 2 drivers behind him get up there and spoil the party, or will they race amongst themselves? Big block out of the 2 of Hayes Booth. Runs the 25 all the way to the bottom. That's going to allow Kason Plott to get away. Can Bobby Hamilton Jr. slide job off of 4? Yes, he can, and he's going to take that 2nd spot away. Hayes Booth going to walk away in 3rd. David Bradford, great recovery out of him. He walks away with a 4th place. Brian Littleton going to round out your top 5. Hats off to this man right here on screen, the 19 of Kason Plott. He was dialed up when it was time to go each and every time tonight, walking away with the win in stage number 1, stage number 2, and here at the end of the race. So, man, that 19 was absolutely on a rail when he needed to be. Got the job done just like he needed to be. And, well, we'll let him celebrate just a little bit. Then we'll get set to go down trackside. For our post-race interviews, and looking through some of the radio channels, not looking like we've got very many of the drivers in their podium positions down here with radio communications. So we'll continue to kind of sort that thing out, see how that all plays out for us as we continue to watch the very long celebration for Kason Plott, walking away with yet another race win here in season number 2. Gonna be win number 5 for that 19 of Kason Plott, and he sure is enjoying it. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we're not going to have those post-race interviews like we normally look forward to. So with all that being said, we're going to get set to go through some official race business before we head off into the sunset tonight. Another great race for us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, and we do appreciate each and every one of you joining us here tonight or any other night that you choose to do so here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Another great race for Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Your unofficial race results look a little something like this. Walking away in the top spot with the race win, the 19 of Kason Plott. Just behind him, but not enough laps left for Bobby Hamilton Jr. to get up there and battle for that top spot, so he will walk away in the 2nd position. Hayes Booth gonna walk away in 3rd. David Bradford coming home in 4th. Brian Littleton will finish in 5th. The 02 of Thomas McMullen walking away in 6th. And in 7th, you can find the 5 of Mark Truxell. Mikey Yellow Jr. walking away in 8th. 9th will go to the 85 of Jason Baker. Will Hewitt going to come home in 10th. 11th will be Chris Mathis. 12th, Jeff Napier. Brian Mescal Jr. going to bring his 33 machine home in the 13th position. Colt Ansley going to finish in 14th. 15th will go to Joshua Baker. George Oakes going to finish in 16th. And the 51 going to slot home at the end of the day in the 17th in a final finishing position. Well, just like that, another great one in the book here for the Superior Class Auto Racing. We've only got a few races remaining here towards the end of season number 2. Check us out in 2 weeks when we hit Martinsville Speedway. Then we'll go all the way across country for the final race before the championship out there in California at Auto Club Speedway. So that is going to be a heck of a show as well. Once again, do want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And well, with all that being said, as always, stay safe, stay loved. We'll catch up with you next week here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.